Hello and welcome to World Religions. You'll have videos throughout the semester. Some of them are old. I made them last semester, and somebody emailed me and said they were confused because my video was a little bit, I talked about some dates and some information that's not really relevant to the semester in my video. So I'm remaking this one for the summer of 2014. If I guess I just sort of forgot about the fact that I had talked about specific dates. As far as they go, there will be videos throughout the course. There will be videos that I will try to introduce each week. Each week will be its own module or its own section. It will cover a different religion. And I would, that'll be each week as we go along. I will do an introductory video. And then there will be videos giving information from that week. Everything is due at 8 p.m. on Fridays. I would sort of suggest, you keep that in mind. I gave that date just because I'd like to give everybody about a week to work on stuff, and there are 8 weeks, and sort of just to keep it moving. The first one will be due this Friday, so this first week is probably the roughest in a lot of ways. But at the same time, there's a lot of reading, there's a lot of stuff to do every week, and you have to think that this course is going twice as fast as a regular semester, and so you kind of need to think that you would be spending in a regular semester maybe 3 hours of coursework, so you'd have 6 hours outside of it. That's 9 hours a week. In this, you're doing it twice as fast. That's 18 hours a week you should be working on this course. I don't think you will probably work necessarily 18 hours a week, but I wouldn't be surprised if you work 12 hours a week or 15 hours a week. So, keep that in mind of sort of where your time commitment is, and keep in mind that 8 p.m. Friday deadline. Now, people always ask me, how do I succeed in an online class? I've never taken one before. And the first thing I always tell people, and the most important thing I always say is, contact me if you have a question. If you see an error, if you have a problem, if you're confused, email me. Unlike a regular class where you can just raise your hand and ask a question if you get confused, in this format, that's not possible. And you can't count on a colleague of yours to ask the question. I might answer their question in an email and never say anything because I didn't realize you were also confused. So if you have a question, send me an email. Don't be afraid. People sometimes will send me an email. I hate to bother you. Don't worry. You're not bothering me. I mean, it is my job, and I enjoy my job. So, just ask your question. Don't worry about that. The other thing I always suggest is set aside time. If you're going to spend 10, 15 hours a week on this, set aside a few days with 5 hours, or set aside 2 hours a day every day. That will assure that you can actually get everything done for this course. I know I am personally busy. I have 2 young children. They're 2 and 1, and if I don't keep up with my work, or if I don't set aside specific times to work, I know that I won't get everything done. Now, as far as it goes, as far as the organization, each unit you are to read the textbook, and there will be an exam over the reading of the textbook. You also should listen to lectures, watch videos, and other things. There will be a checklist provided in each unit, and that checklist should help you to realize what needs to be done, what needs to be watched, etc. And then take the exam. The exams are untimed, meaning you can come and you can spend 6 hours on them, 10 hours on them, etc. The only exception is the final exam will be timed, but each unit exam or each weekly exam is not timed. Most of them are multiple choice, although there are a few essay and a few short answer questions. With the short answer, it is particular about what you enter, and a lot of times you'll enter something and you'll get one letter off, or you'll give an answer that's acceptable, but it didn't have that exact phrasing. And so in those cases, I do go back and manually check and fix those. If you get one wrong and you think that you shouldn't have gotten it wrong, or you shouldn't have gotten it wrong, because say you entered the number 4 instead of the word for, you wrote F-O-U-R and it was only looking for the number, or vice versa. I will catch that most likely, but if you want to email me and just say, hey, I missed a couple questions, can you take a look, or there's one I think should be right even though the answer is a little different, go ahead and do that. That's fine. I will take a look at it. As far as it goes, there's a checklist on each module. Make sure to follow that, print it off, and make sure you're doing everything. One of the things that's part of every weekly unit is there's a religion news website called www.wwrn. So wwrn.org. And it's a religious news website called Worldwide Religious News. And basically it's a site that gives information on news from religion, whether it be some person who's a religious person, doing something of some significance, or a church policy change, or a war, or a fight over religion, whatever. And I want you to look through that, kind of keep abreast of what's going on in the world and religion, some of the issues. And so I want you to look for one article each week that just strikes you as interesting. Kind of just keep an eye out, and you'll post to the discussion board, and then read through what other people are doing, and post on ones you found interesting, what you liked or what you didn't like. Those should be the initial post should be a summary of the article, where you got the article from, and maybe your own thoughts or reaction to it. The other thing is, and this is one thing I will send an email correcting, because I think the syllabus it has a couple different pieces of information, but you're supposed to do 4 reflections per week. That's 4 per week, each on a different day, over the readings. The readings will come from the book by Sharma, who is the I was just looking to see if I had that book right nearby, and I don't see it. It's probably on the floor under a pile of papers, sorry. Called Our Religions by Sharma, and it's mainly a book of primary texts. It's scriptures. It's basically Bible verses, writings of theologians of different religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Confucianism, etc. And you are to read that and then write your reflection. What did you learn? What did you find interesting? What did you think about that text? And so I want you to read 20-30 minutes. There's no set number of pages. There's no read to here or there. Just don't read all of it in one sitting. And don't, I would recommend trying to read through the whole chapter, but you don't have to do that. And then basically spend 20-30 minutes reflecting on that chapter and saying what you think of it. And so you will do 4 of those per week, and you will post those each day as you complete them to a Dropbox, and I will grade those based on how you do. On final notes, don't be afraid to contact me. I've told you that before. I want to say that again. Contact me if you have a question. I always try to respond to all emails within 24 hours. Sometimes what I'll do is I will read through an email, but then I will forget to respond. I will read it and be like, I need to think about that, and I'll forget. So if you haven't gotten a response from me within 48 hours, send me a second email and say, hey, I never got a response. Just be polite. Just say, hey, I never got a response. And that'll be fine. I will see your response, and I will go ahead and send you back saying, sorry, and I will respond. So I will try to do it within 24 hours. If you haven't heard anything within 48 hours, just send me another email. But in the end, don't be afraid to contact me if you see anything that concerns you. Have a good luck, and don't be afraid to contact me.